My dad said my fiancé was using me and tried to turn my mom against me. I uninvited him from the wedding, but when my mom finally met my in-laws, she realized who'd really been manipulating everyone. My dad has always been protective. Maybe too protective. He never liked anyone I dated. My high school girlfriend was too clingy. My college ex was too ambitious. When I got engaged 6 months ago, I thought he'd finally be happy for me. My fiancé is kind, works as a nurse, and treats me better than anyone ever has. But 2 weeks after I proposed, my dad started with the comments. She's moving pretty fast, don't you think? Has she asked about your salary yet? Just be careful, son. I brushed it off. My mom seemed to like my fiancé. We had dinner at their house a few times. Everything felt normal. Then my dad called me at work 3 months ago. His voice was tight, urgent. We need to talk. In person. Tonight. I met him at a coffee shop near his office. He slid a manila folder across the table. I had a friend look into her background, he said. You need to see this. Inside were bank statements, credit reports, court documents. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. Then I saw the name at the top. It was similar to my fiancé's name but spelled differently. Different middle initial. Different birthday. Dad, this isn't her. Look at the address history. I looked. The woman in these documents had lived in 3 states my fiancé had never been to. This isn't the same person, I said slowly. The birthday is wrong. The spelling is wrong. My dad's jaw tightened. She probably changed it. People do that when they're running from debt. Dad, stop. I'm trying to protect you. I stood up. You hired someone to investigate my fiancé and brought me fake documents. We're done here. I left. I should have known it wouldn't end there. Over the next few weeks, my dad called my mom constantly. I'd get texts from her asking weird questions. Does your fiancé have family nearby? Where did she grow up again? Has she mentioned any ex-husbands? I finally called my mom and asked what was going on. She hesitated. Your father is just worried. He thinks she's hiding something. She's not hiding anything. Dad literally showed me documents for a different person. He's convinced there's more to the story. There isn't. My mom sighed. Just talk to him. Please. But I didn't want to talk to him. I wanted to marry my fiancé and move on with my life. 2 months before the wedding, my dad sent me an email. The subject line was final warning. Inside was a 3-page letter detailing why my fiancé was using me for a green card, even though she was born in this country. He claimed she had secret debt. That she'd been married before. That her nursing license was fake. I forwarded it to my fiancé. She read it and cried for an hour. Why does he hate me? She asked. I don't know. I've never done anything to him. I know. That night, I called my dad. You're uninvited from the wedding, I said. Silence. You've made my fiancé feel like garbage for months based on nothing. You hired someone to dig up dirt and came back with documents for the wrong person. You've been poisoning mom against her. I'm done. You're making a mistake, he said quietly. The only mistake I made was not shutting this down sooner. I hung up. My mom called 10 minutes later, sobbing. You can't uninvite your father. I just did. He's your dad. He loves you. He doesn't respect me. There's a difference. She begged. She pleaded. She said I was tearing the family apart. I told her she was still invited, but if she brought my dad, they'd both be removed. The next few weeks were hell. My dad sent letters to my apartment. He showed up at my office. He called my fiancé's work and asked to speak to her supervisor, claiming there was a family emergency. Her boss pulled her aside, confused. When she called me in tears, I filed a restraining order. My mom stopped speaking to me entirely. But my fiancé's family was incredible. Her parents flew in 2 weeks before the wedding to help with final preparations. They insisted on hosting a dinner to meet my side of the family. I didn't know what to tell them. That my dad was banned? That my mom wasn't speaking to me? My fiancé squeezed my hand. Invite your mom. Maybe she'll show up. I sent the invitation. I didn't expect a response. She came. My mom walked into that restaurant looking exhausted. My future mother-in-law greeted her warmly, hugged her, and said how excited she was to officially become family. We sat down to dinner. Conversation was stilted at first. Then my future father-in-law mentioned something about his daughter's childhood, about how she'd always wanted to be a nurse after watching her grandmother recover from surgery. My mom perked up. Where was that? St. Mary's Hospital. Right here in town. My mom frowned. Your family is from here? Born and raised, my future mother-in-law said. We've been in this area for 3 generations. But. My mom trailed off. What's wrong? I asked. My mom looked at me, then at my fiancé. Your father said she was from out of state. That she moved here recently. That her background was suspicious because there were no local records. My fiancé blinked. I've lived here my whole life except for college. My future father-in-law pulled out his phone. Here, these are photos from her high school graduation. That's the community center down on Maple Street. He showed my mom pictures spanning decades. Birthday parties at local parks. Family reunions at the same restaurant we were sitting in. My fiancé's nursing school graduation at the university across town. My mom went pale. He said he couldn't find anything about your family, she whispered. He said you appeared out of nowhere. We've been here longer than you have, my future mother-in-law said gently. We moved here in 1987. My mom and dad moved here in 1995. We sat in silence. My mom's hands were shaking. What else did he tell you? I asked. She looked at me. Really looked at me. Everything. He said she was using you. That she had debt. That she'd been married before. That her license was fake. He showed me documents. For a different person, I said. He said she'd changed her name. My fiancée's voice was quiet. I've never changed my name. I've never been married. I don't have debt. You can verify my license online right now if you want. My mom pulled out her phone. Her fingers moved quickly. We watched her face change as she looked up the nursing board website, typed in my fiancée's name, and found her active license with her photo. Oh my God, she breathed. My future father-in-law cleared his throat. I don't mean to pry, but has your husband been having any unusual behavior lately? Memory issues? Confusion? My mom shook her head slowly. No. He's been very focused. Very detailed. He spent months on this. Months lying to you, I said. She flinched. The rest of the dinner was awkward. My mom kept apologizing. My fiancé was gracious, but I could see the hurt in her eyes. When we said goodbye, my mom hugged her tight. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I should have questioned him. I should have met your parents sooner. I should have trusted my son. My fiancé hugged her back. That night, my mom called me. I'm leaving your father, she said. I almost dropped my phone. What? He lied to me for months. He manufactured evidence. He tried to destroy your relationship based on nothing. When I confronted him tonight, he didn't apologize. He said he was protecting you from a mistake. Mom. He said even if she's not a scammer, she's still not good enough for you. That no one will ever be good enough. That he knows what's best for you, and I was stupid for doubting him. Her voice cracked. I've spent 20 years listening to him tear down everyone in your life. Your friends weren't smart enough. Your girlfriends weren't pretty enough. Your job wasn't impressive enough. And I went along with it because I thought he was just being a concerned father. But he's not concerned. He's controlling. And I'm done. She stayed at a hotel that night. She came to the wedding. She walked me down the aisle. My dad sent a letter the day after the wedding. It was addressed to both of us. Inside was a single sentence. You'll regret this when she shows her true colors. My wife read it and laughed. Then she tore it up. We've been married for 4 months now. My mom moved into her own apartment and filed for divorce. She has dinner with us once a week. She and my mother-in-law have become friends. My dad still sends letters. I don't open them. But sometimes I wonder if I should have handled it differently. My mom says I did the right thing, but I can tell she's struggling with the divorce. My wife says my dad made his choices, but I know she's hurt by how he treated her. Was I wrong to cut him off so completely instead of trying to fix whatever is broken in him? I didn't think I'd be back here so soon, but my dad hired a private investigator to follow my wife to work. She called me yesterday afternoon, voice shaking. Someone had been parked outside the hospital for 3 days. Same car. Same spot. She noticed because the security guard mentioned it during her shift. When she left work, the car followed her to the grocery store. Then it followed her home. She was terrified. I told her to stay in the car and call the police. I was 20 minutes away. By the time I got there, a cop was taking her statement. The car was gone, but she'd gotten the plate number. The officer ran it. It came back to a private investigation firm 2 towns over. My wife looked at me. Why would someone hire a pie to follow me? I knew. I fucking knew. The officer asked if we had any ongoing disputes, any legal issues, anything that might explain it. I told him about my dad. About the restraining order. About the letters that kept coming. He wrote it all down and said he'd follow up. I called my dad that night. He answered on the first ring. Did you hire someone to follow my wife? Silence. Answer me. I'm gathering evidence, he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. Evidence of what? She's hiding something. I can feel it. When I prove it, you'll thank me. You had someone follow her to work. You scared her. Do you understand how insane that is? I'm protecting my son. I'm not your son anymore, I said. Stay away from us or I'm escalating this legally. He hung up. My wife didn't sleep that night. She kept getting up to check the windows. The next morning, she called in sick to work. She's never called in sick. She worked through the flu last year. I can't go, she said. What if he's out there again? I stayed home with her. We kept the curtains closed. Every car that drove past made her jump. My mom came over that afternoon. She brought soup and looked exhausted. He called me 15 times yesterday, she said. He wants me to convince you to talk to him. Did you? I blocked his number. She sat on the couch next to my wife. I'm so sorry. I should have seen this years ago. The way he treated your friends, your girlfriends. He did the same thing to my friends when we first got married. I thought he'd calm down. He's gotten worse, I said. My mom nodded. The divorce attorney said this kind of behavior usually escalates. He's losing control and he can't handle it. What did the attorney say we should do? Document everything. Save the letters. Keep records of the pie. If he violates the restraining order, report it immediately. My wife was quiet. Then she said, I want to move. I looked at her. What? I don't feel safe here. He knows where we live. He knows where I work. I can't do this. My mom reached over and squeezed her hand. That night, my wife's parents called. My mother-in-law was furious. We didn't raise our daughter to live in fear, she said. What is wrong with your father? I didn't have an answer. Her dad got on the phone. We have a rental property about 40 minutes north. It's vacant right now. You two can stay there as long as you need. No charge. I felt something break in my chest. We can't ask you to do that. You're not asking. We're offering. Pack your things and come this weekend. We moved on Saturday. My mom helped. My in-laws helped. We didn't tell anyone else where we were going. On Sunday, my dad showed up at our old apartment. Our former neighbor texted me. She said he knocked on the door for 10 minutes. When no one answered, he cupped his hands against the window and looked inside. She called the building manager. The manager told him we'd moved out. My dad asked where we went. The manager told him that was private information. My dad sat in his car in the parking lot for 2 hours. The neighbor sent me photos. Time-stamped. Dated. I forwarded them to the police. Yesterday, I got a call from my dad's brother. My uncle. We haven't spoken in years. Your mom called me, he said. She told me what's been happening. Okay. Your dad isn't well. This isn't normal behavior. I know that. He needs help. Professional help. But he won't admit there's a problem. I didn't say anything. My uncle sighed. When you were growing up, did he ever tell you about his first marriage? I froze. What? He was married before your mom. For 2 years. His wife left him. She said he was controlling, paranoid. He accused her of cheating even though she never did. He followed her to work. He went through her things. It got so bad she had to move to another state. My stomach dropped. Your mom doesn't know, my uncle continued. He never told her. I only know because I helped him move after the divorce. I thought he'd changed. I guess I was wrong. After we hung up, I sat in the new apartment and stared at the wall. My wife came and sat next to me. What's wrong? I told her everything my uncle said. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, he's going to keep coming. I know. What do we do? I don't have an answer. The restraining order doesn't seem to matter. Moving didn't stop him. He's convinced my wife is the enemy and nothing I say will change his mind. My mom thinks we should get a lawyer and pursue harassment charges. My father-in-law thinks we should go to the media and expose him publicly. My wife just wants to disappear. I just want my dad to leave us alone, but I'm starting to realize that's never going to happen unless someone forces him to stop. My dad found us. I don't know how. We were careful. We didn't give anyone the address except my mom and my in-laws. But 3 days ago, my wife looked out the kitchen window and his car was parked across the street. She called me immediately. I left work and drove home doing 80 the whole way. When I got there, he was still sitting in his car. Just watching the house. I walked up to his window. He rolled it down. You need to leave, I said. This is a public street. You're violating the restraining order. I'm 200 feet away. Technically I'm in compliance. He'd measured it. He actually fucking measured it. Why are you doing this? He looked at me like I was stupid. Because someone has to protect you. From what? From my wife? From having a normal life? She's going to hurt you. I can see it. You're too blind to see it, but I'm not. You're delusional. His face hardened. I'm the only one who cares about you. Your mother abandoned me. Your wife manipulated you. But I'm still here. I'll always be here. I stepped back. There was something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Something empty. I went back inside and called the police. They came and told him to move. He drove exactly 201 feet down the street and parked again. The officer looked frustrated. Technically he's not violating the order if he maintains distance. But this is clearly harassment. You should talk to your attorney about modifying the order. After they left, my wife packed a bag. I can't stay here, she said. Where will you go? My parents' house. You should come too. We stayed there for 2 nights. On the 3rd day, my wife got a call from the hospital. Her supervisor needed to speak with her urgently. When she got there, they sat her down in an office. Someone had filed a complaint against her. An anonymous complaint claiming she was stealing medication. My wife went numb. That's not true. We know, her supervisor said. We've reviewed your records. Your medication logs are perfect. Nothing is missing. But we have to investigate anyway. It's policy. Who filed the complaint? It was anonymous. Called in through our hotline. My wife came home shaking. Not crying. Just shaking. He's trying to get me fired, she said. He's trying to ruin my career. I wanted to put my fist through a wall. My father-in-law made some calls. He has a friend who works in hospital administration. The friend looked into the complaint. The call came from a burner phone. It was made the same day my dad found our new address. We couldn't prove it was him. But we knew. My wife went on voluntary leave while the investigation happened. She said she couldn't focus on work anyway. She stopped sleeping. She stopped eating. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning and find her sitting in the dark, staring at nothing. My mom came by yesterday. She looked worse than I'd ever seen her. I need to tell you something, she said. We sat down. Your father withdrew $30,000 from our joint account last week. I only found out because the bank flagged it as suspicious. When I called him, he said he needed it for legal fees. Legal fees for what? He's hired a lawyer. He's planning to sue you. I stared at her. Sue me for what? Alienation of affection. It's an old law. He's claiming your wife deliberately damaged your relationship with him. He says she manipulated you into cutting him off. That's insane. I know. The lawyer told him it probably won't hold up in court. But your father doesn't care. He wants to drag this out. He wants to make her suffer. My wife got up and walked out of the room. I found her in the bathroom, sitting on the floor. I can't do this anymore, she said. He wins. I give up. Don't say that. What's the point? He's never going to stop. He'll follow us forever. He'll ruin my career. He'll sue us until we're broke. I can't fight someone who has nothing to lose. I sat down next to her. We'll figure it out. How? How do we fight this? I didn't have an answer. That night, my uncle called again. He said my dad had been calling him obsessively, leaving long rambling voicemails about conspiracy theories. About how my wife's family was part of some scheme. About how they'd planned this from the beginning. He's lost touch with reality, my uncle said. He needs to be institutionalized. Can we do that? Not unless he's a danger to himself or others. And even then, it's nearly impossible to force an adult into treatment. This morning, my wife's investigation concluded. They found no evidence of wrongdoing. She's cleared to return to work. But she's not going back. I can't work there anymore, she said. Every time I walk through those doors, I'll think about him calling in that complaint. I'll wonder if someone believes it. I'll wonder when the next accusation will come. She's worked so hard for that job. She loves being a nurse. And my dad took that from her. My mom's attorney sent my dad a cease and desist letter yesterday. He responded by sending a 12-page letter to every member of my extended family. In it, he detailed every reason why my wife is dangerous. He included the fake documents from months ago. He made claims about her past that are completely fabricated. Half my family blocked his number. The other half started asking questions. My aunt called me. Is any of this true? None of it. Then why is he saying it? Because he's sick. She was quiet. Then she said, your grandmother wants to talk to you. My grandmother is 92. She's the matriarch of the family. Everyone listens to her. I called her that night. Your father has always been troubled, she said. Her voice was steady, clear. When he was young, he couldn't keep friends. He thought everyone was plotting against him. We took him to doctors. They said he had paranoid tendencies. But he refused treatment. He said there was nothing wrong with him. Why didn't anyone tell me this before? We thought he'd outgrown it. For years, he seemed fine. But I see now that he just learned to hide it better. She paused. You need to protect your wife. And you need to accept that your father may never be the man you want him to be. I hung up and told my wife everything. She looked at me with exhausted eyes. What do we do now? I'm meeting with an attorney tomorrow to discuss our options. My mom's attorney recommended someone who specializes in harassment cases. But I don't know if a lawyer can fix this. I don't know if anything can. My wife barely speaks anymore. She sits by the window and watches the street. My in-laws want us to move out of state. My mom thinks we should go to the media and expose him. But I'm terrified that no matter what we do, he'll find a way to make it worse. How do you stop someone who genuinely believes they're the hero of the story? My dad is in jail. I know I should feel relieved, but mostly I just feel empty. The attorney we hired said the harassment case was strong. We had documentation going back months. The letters, the pie, the false complaint at my wife's job, the stalking. But he warned us that cases like this move slowly. He said we'd probably be fighting this for at least a year. We didn't have a year. 2 weeks ago, my wife and I were driving home from the grocery store. It was late, almost 9 at night. We'd been staying at her parents' house but needed to pick up some things from the apartment we'd abandoned. We pulled into the complex and my wife's whole body went rigid. He's here. My dad's car was parked in the same spot he'd used before. Engine running. Headlights on. I told my wife to stay in the car and lock the doors. I called the police before I even got out. I walked toward his car slowly, phone in my hand, recording everything. He rolled down his window. We need to talk, he said. No. We don't. The police are on their way. I'm your father. You lost that right. He got out of the car. He looked terrible. Unshaven. Eyes bloodshot. He'd lost weight. Just listen to me for 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I'm not doing this. He stepped closer. She's poison. Can't you see that? She's turned everyone against me. Your mother. Your family. You. She's destroyed everything. You destroyed everything. You did this. I'm trying to save you. The police arrived. 2 officers. One stayed with me while the other approached my dad. They asked him to step back. He didn't. I'm his father, he said to the officer. I have a right to talk to my son. Sir, there's a restraining order. You need to leave. I'm 200 feet away. You're 50 feet away. We measured it last time you were here. My dad's face changed. Something broke behind his eyes. You're all in on it, he said quietly. All of you. You're all part of her plan. The officer asked him to put his hands behind his back. My dad didn't resist. He just kept staring at me as they cuffed him. "You'll see," he said. "When she leaves you, when she takes everything, you'll remember that I tried to warn you." They put him in the patrol car. I gave my statement. My wife gave hers. The officers said they'd recommend he be held without bail given the pattern of violations. We drove back to my in-laws' house in silence. My wife stared out the window the whole way. When we got inside, she went straight to the bedroom and closed the door. My mother-in-law made tea. My father-in-law sat across from me at the kitchen table. "It's over now," he said. But it didn't feel over. The arraignment was 3 days later. My mom came. So did my uncle and my grandmother. My dad's attorney asked for bail. The prosecutor laid out everything. The restraining order violations. The pie. The false complaint. The suicide of reason that led to this point. The judge denied bail. He said my dad posed a continued threat. My dad didn't react. He just sat there, staring at me from across the courtroom. The trial is set for 2 months from now. The attorney says my dad will likely take a plea deal. Probably probation and mandatory psychiatric treatment. Maybe some jail time. My mom filed for divorce the next day. She said she'd waited to make sure the house was in her name first. She'd been planning it for weeks. "I loved your father for 30 years, she told me. But the man I loved doesn't exist anymore." Maybe he never did, she cried after she said it. Not the loud, messy kind of crying. The quiet kind that's somehow worse. My wife went back to work last week. Different hospital. Different shift. She said she needed something normal in her life again. But I can tell she's not the same. She checks the locks 3 times before bed. She keeps her phone on loud in case I call. She startles when someone walks up behind her. Last night, we were lying in bed and she said, "I keep waiting for him to show up again. He's in jail." I know. But I still feel like he's watching. I held her hand. I didn't know what else to do. My grandmother called me yesterday. She said my dad had written to her from jail. The letter was 12 pages long. Rambling. Incoherent. He claimed my wife was part of a government conspiracy. That she'd planted microchips in our food. That the entire family had been brainwashed except him. "He's very sick," my grandmother said. "The doctors are evaluating him now. They think it's been building for years. Why didn't anyone notice? Because he didn't want us to. He was functional. He had a job, a family. He seemed fine on the surface. But underneath, this was always there." I asked her if she thought he'd get better. She was quiet for a long time. "I don't know. I hope so. But even if he does, the damage is done." My uncle helped my mom move into a new apartment last week. Small place. 1 bedroom. She said it felt strange living alone after 30 years of marriage. But she also said it felt peaceful. "I didn't realize how much stress I was carrying until it was gone," she said. She started therapy. She said the therapist told her she'd been enabling my dad's behavior for decades. That she'd learned to rationalize and minimize it because confronting it would have meant admitting her marriage was broken. "I wasted so much time," she said. "You didn't waste it. You survived it." She hugged me tight. My in-laws have been incredible through all of this. They offered to let us stay with them permanently, but my wife wants our own space. We're looking at houses in a different county. Somewhere my dad won't think to look when he eventually gets out. Because he will get out. Maybe in 6 months. Maybe in a year. And I don't know what happens then. The attorney said we can get a permanent restraining order. That we can press charges if he violates it. But I've learned that restraining orders are just paper. They don't actually stop someone who's determined. My wife knows this too. She's already talking about changing her name. About deleting social media. About becoming invisible. "I don't want to live like this," she said last night. "Always looking over my shoulder. Always waiting for him to find us. We'll figure it out." Will we? Because it feels like he won. He didn't get what he wanted, but he still destroyed everything. Our sense of safety. Our peace. He took that from us and we can't get it back. I didn't argue because she was right. My therapist says trauma changes you on a fundamental level. That you don't go back to who you were before. You just learn to live as this new version of yourself. The version that knows how quickly everything can fall apart. The version that understands that the people who are supposed to protect you can become the ones you need protection from. I look at my wife sometimes and I see the toll this has taken. The way she flinches at unexpected sounds. The way she triple checks that the door is locked. The way she goes quiet when someone mentions fathers or family. My dad wanted to protect me from her. Instead, he broke something in both of us that I don't know how to fix. I got a letter from him last week. The jail forwarded it to my attorney's office. I haven't opened it. My attorney advised me not to. He said it would likely just be more of the same. More accusations. More delusions. But part of me wants to read it. Part of me wants to understand how someone goes from being a father to being this. How love turns into obsession. How protection becomes destruction. My therapist says that's normal. That I'm grieving the father I thought I had. The one who taught me to ride a bike and help with homework and showed up at my baseball games. That version of my dad is gone. Maybe he was never really there. Maybe I just saw what I wanted to see. The trial is in 6 weeks. My attorney says I'll have to testify. So will my wife. We'll have to recount everything. The stalking. The letters. The harassment. We'll have to stand in front of a judge and a jury and explain how my father terrorized us. My wife asked if we could just drop the charges. Let him take the plea deal and move on. I told her we need to see this through. That if we don't, he'll think he can do it again. But honestly, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if any of this will stop him. I don't know if jail or therapy or court orders will change someone who's convinced they're right and everyone else is wrong. All I know is that my wife deserves to feel safe. She deserves to go to work without wondering if someone will file another false complaint. She deserves to come home without checking if his car is parked outside. She deserves a life that isn't defined by fear. And I don't know if I can give her that. My mom said something last week that stuck with me. She said, "Your father always believed he was the hero of his own story. And in his mind, he still is. He thinks he's fighting the good fight. He thinks someday you'll thank him." That's what terrifies me most. Not that he's sick. Not that he's in jail. But that even now, even after everything, he genuinely believes he did nothing wrong. How do you fight someone who can't see reality? How do you protect yourself from someone who thinks they're protecting you? I don't have answers. I just have this apartment we're packing up. These locks we're checking. This life we're trying to rebuild from scratch. My wife says she doesn't regret marrying me. She says she'd do it all again. But sometimes I catch her staring out the window with this look on her face and I wonder if she wishes she'd never met me. If she wishes she'd married someone with a normal family. Someone whose father didn't try to destroy her life. I asked her once. She said no. But I saw the hesitation before she answered. We're moving next month. New house. New city. New start. My in-laws are helping with the down payment. My mom is coming with us. She says she wants to be close in case we need her. Part of me feels like we're running. Like we're letting him win by leaving. But the bigger part of me just wants my wife to sleep through the night without waking up in a panic. I want her to stop checking her rearview mirror every 5 minutes. I want her to remember what it feels like to be happy. Maybe that happens in the new house. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is just who we are now. The people this experience made us. The trial starts in 6 weeks. After that, whatever happens happens. All I can do is be there for my wife and hope that someday, eventually, we find something that feels like peace. But right now, in this moment, I'm just tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of being afraid. Tired of wondering when the next crisis will hit. My dad is in jail, but it doesn't feel like justice. It just feels like damage control. And I don't know if that's enough.